going on?
Push me an argument.
Disagree on this.
Come on, Georgie, now it's fruitcake. You like that?
Oh, lovely.
Here you are.
Wait, what's your special?
I'll have yours if you don't want it, Thelma.
Piss off.
Hello, Pat. You all right?
Oh, he's fine.
Good.
Get off, for heaven's sake! Why do you do it? Why do you do it? Woman! Why do you do it? What are you thinking about?
Hello, Mrs. Boswell.
Jungle drums tell me that there's been some trouble.
Nothing very spectacular. Nellie Evans has messed up her bedding again.
Again?
For the 4th time. First time we thought it was an accident. Second time we gave her the benefit of the doubt.
And the last time it was deliberate. Why didn't you put her on report?
I did talk to her. She's a little retarded.
Well, she's been in and out of prison for the last 20 years, leaving behind her a trail of destruction.
Well, I explained to her how childish it was, but I didn't think she'd do it again.
No. Of course, it's up to you to deal with her as you think fit, but vandalism has to be reported. I gather she's also accused Pat Berryman of attacking her.
What were you thinking of? To have a go at an inmate? You know better than that.
I was stopping her mucking up her bedding again, Chief.
Well, to stop her doing damage is one thing, but to have a go at her afterwards, that's something else. And I don't have to tell you how serious that could be for you. I don't understand. It's not like you. We're not here for social chit-chat, Mrs. Spencer.
I just wondered if Pat had explained it was really my fault, Chief. I mean, she was shaking Nellie because she had started to have hysterics. She was trying to pull her together. I really shouldn't have interfered.
Is that true?
Yes, Chief.
All right, I'll buy it. Look, what concerns me? If there's a complaint made of ill treatment and an investigation, it doesn't matter if the officer is censured or exonerated, the mud sticks. There are a lot of people who like to think the worst of us and the service, and it's up to us to make damn sure they don't get the chance.
Yes, Chief, I'm sorry.
Right, I'll see what I can do. Look, I know it's very difficult when they start acting deliberately stupid or needling you, but the rule is you don't lay a hand on an inmate unless it's in self-defense or to stop her injuring herself or others.
Yes, Chief.
Yes, Chief.
Right, well, drink up your coffee and get back on the wing.
Thanks, Meg.
Think nothing of it. It could still be nasty, you know.
Nellie'll pile on the agony. I don't know what came over me. She was just standing there, giggling.
I know. Forget it. You didn't do her any harm.
Have you anything to say?
It was accident, madam.
Like the 3 other occasions?
Oh, I like my bread broke up small, you see, madam. Like I was a little bird, me mum used to say. And, well, I was just going to drink my tea and it just sort of slipped out of my hand, madam.
Miss Berryman says that she saw you quite deliberately pouring it onto your bed.
She would, wouldn't she? I mean, she'd say anything. She got in for me, she has. You should have seen what she was doing. She was clawing at my arms like a tiger and her eyes were blazing.
Now, just a minute. Are you accusing Miss Berryman of attacking you?
And what do you think I'm doing?
Are you making a complaint against Miss Berryman?
Oh, no, I'm not accusing anyone, no.
Do you have a complaint or don't you?
No, madam. No, Miss Berryman, well, she just didn't know what I was doing, madam.
Nellie, you know perfectly well she knew precisely what you were doing and tried to put a stop to it.
Oh, yes, madam.
Now, why do you do it?
It was accident, madam.
Very well. You've only been cautioned before, but you persisted. 3 days, loss of privileges. I won't be as lenient if you come before me again.
Thank you, madam.
Take her out.
Oh, it's all so senseless. Why does she do it?
No idea, madam. I doubt whether she has either.
Probably not. Well, I'm glad she didn't carry on with that complaint against Pat Berryman. Still, don't think there's anything in it, do you?
Miss Berryman is a first-class young officer, madam.
Yes, she is, but she seems to have been under a bit of a strain lately.
I hadn't noticed it, madam.
Next. The worst of it is, the chief will have a greedy eye on you for a while. Oh, she won't say anything, but you'll know she's around.
Yeah.
If I were you, I'd give the lovely Nellie a wide berth for a few weeks.
Too right.
That's better. No, you want to cheer yourself up. Get that boyfriend of yours to take you out dancing or something.
What boyfriend?
Well, I thought, is it all off?
If it was ever really on.
Oh, sorry, Pat. You should have told me.
Yeah, right in her face.
What, dear?
Yeah.
I'll bet they keep a welcome up the junction for that one.
Go on, Agnes. Tell us about the bedroom.
Well, I'm going to have it papered in blue. Big pale blue roses. I saw a design in one of the magazines.
Oh, lovely.
And a matching fabric for the curtains. White candlewick bedspread. White carpet.
Oh, Agnes, it'll look a picture.
Very elegant. What are you going to use for money
Money?
when you get out?
Oh, Archie's doing very well now. He's got a job.
Well, he'd have to, wouldn't he? I mean, with you being inside, he's lost his meal ticket.
He's just been unlucky with his jobs before.
Well, bet. Look, Agnes, if he's what you need to make you happy, fine. But don't kid yourself. Men are all take, and you get precious little in return.
Oh, Thelma, you're going out next Wednesday. Don't forget to return all your books to the library.
Sure. I wasn't going to nick them, you know. Though, mind you, some of them are so old, I thought I might find myself a rare first edition amongst them.
No chance, I've already looked.
Oh, miss, would you do me a favour?
Depends.
Well, it's about the library too. Would you choose another book for me?
Wouldn't you rather pick one yourself?
Well, there's so many of them, I never can make up my mind. You know the sort I like. One with lots of pictures.
All right, Georgie.
They're laughing at me.
Nellie, would you like me to pick one for you too?
I don't want nothing from you. Nothing. What I'd like, though, is to kick her face in.
Oh, don't say that. She's nice.
I'll smash you, too. I'll see you sucking up to her again.
Lay off.
What'd you say?
I said pick on someone your own age.
Oh, you're standing up for her now, are you?
She was only trying to be human.
Yeah, fancy her, do you?
Watch it.
Oh, what?
Or I might just take you round the corner and wash your mouth out with soap. I don't think you'd like it.
Shut up.
Peter, will you see if you can get some drinks and I'll get some food? Stan, could I have a banger and a couple of cheese sandwiches?
Yeah. And look, 2 halves of bitter when you finish with that.
Charlie?
No hops. She can't even read. If I could get her to see the education officer,
You're doing very well. Keep it up.
Oh, I'm sorry, Richard. I was only thinking.
Even thinking shop is not allowed.
All right.
Have I ever told you you've got a marvellous smile? I like your dimples as well.
Do you?
Oh, for heaven's sake.
Hello there.
Hello.
Mind if we join you?
Hi. Nice to see you, Dick.
Well, how's the world of the teaching hospitals?
Oh, blast, I forgot to get any mustard. Oh, Janet, you know that report on Agnes Morris you sent me? Well... Oh, sorry, are we interrupting?
No. No.
Charles, I get the impression that we are what is referred to as de trop.
No, please. It's just that I've only got an hour and it's taken me 20 minutes to get her to stop talking shop.
Oh, point taken.
All the same, I
No,
didn't
no,
remember.
no. please, I don't mean to be rude. Stay where you are. I'll have to leave anyway.
He's got an interview.
Oh, anything exciting?
It's for registrar at a regional hospital in Bristol.
He's on the shortlist. Final interview this afternoon.
Oh, that's quite a step up, isn't it?
If I get it.
Well, I wondered why you were looking so sproncy. Well, the very best of luck.
Yes,
Thank
good
you.
luck.
Thank you. Thank you, Peter. I suppose I'd better be leaving, really.
Hello. What's that, a pep pill?
No, chlorophyll. I don't want to breathe gin all over the medical board.
Good luck, my love.
Thank you, darling. I'll call you later, right?
Right.
Bye-bye.
Right.
Nice to see you.
Cheers. Nice guy.
I think so.
You should have stopped us butting
No.
in. Anyway, let me get another drink.
No, once enough.
Oh, come on.
You notice he did not ask me.
I knew I didn't need to. Stan, can I have a couple of drinks, please?
Now, what about Agnes Morris?
Not very promising, I'm afraid.
Have you been to see the man that she's been living with?
Yes, a pretty shiftless type.
She tells me he's got a new job.
Temporary kitchen porter. He's not sure how long he's going to be able to stick it out.
Well, it's only because of him that she's here. False claims for social benefits, petty theft, just to support him. She'll be going back to precisely the same situation.
I managed to point that out to him rather delicately, but he didn't seem too concerned. I wouldn't be surprised if he's found himself someone else.
Oh, no. Come in.
Oh, sorry, am I too early?
No, that's all right, Charles. We're just going over a list of the women who are due for release.
Trouble is, she's so vulnerable. Very different from her cellmate, Thelma Baker.
Yes, now, she's going to be discharged next week. You know, Mrs. Armitage put her down as a potential troublemaker, but she seemed to settle in. Any welfare problems there?
She just doesn't want anything from us. She knows exactly where she's going, what she's going to do when she gets out.
No, we won't see her in here again.
How can you be so sure?
Well, the circumstances were a bit unusual, you must admit. I mean, her husband finds her in bed with another woman. When he tries to throw the girl out, Thelma half kills him.
They're divorced now.
So I should hope.
What do you disapprove of? The assault or the fact that she was attracted to another woman?
Now you mention it, I don't much care for either.
You must respect Charles's feelings, Miss Clark. On some subjects, he is rather old-fashioned.
Thanks, Padre. But I don't need any advice.
I wasn't trying to give you any.
Not much. Look, I know what I'm doing.
That's all I wanted to find out. That you really know what you're doing.
It's not something I've done on the spur of the moment. You know. I was going to leave my husband anyway, even if he hadn't come bursting in like that. Jenny and I have decided to live together.
I see.
We still feel the same. I've got some money of my own. Jenny's got a small antique shop. We're going to run it together and live in the flat above.
That sounds very organised.
It is. Doesn't it shock you?
Should it? No, Miss Clark of Welfare told me that you'd refused any official help. Of course, problems aren't only material, finding work or a place to live. Often that's the least of a woman's problems in leaving here. No, I merely thought... But there's nothing you'd like me to do?
No. Thanks all the same. I've got Jenny. That's all I need. Oh, there is one thing, Padre.
Yes?
You could marry us.
Are you all right, Miss Berryman?
Oh, hello, Padre. It just felt a bit dizzy, that's all.
Oh, why didn't you go up to the restaurant?
No, it's just a headache. It'll go.
No, you go and lie down for a while. I'll fix it with Miss Harker.
Nellie Evans.
I know she can be very difficult, but I do think she's beginning to respond to me.
Well, don't expect too much, Janet.
I don't expect anything. What's the point of being here if we don't try? Come in.
Oh, excuse me.
No, that's all right, Mr. Prentice.
A council of war?
Oh, the Band of Hope.
Oh, I just sent your Miss Berryman up to the restroom.
Miss Berryman?
Yes, she's not feeling too well. Dizzy spell.
No, she wasn't in there long enough.
In where? The pub at lunchtime.
The pub?
Yes, I was going to mention it, but then I thought, why should I? I mean, I'm against one law for the administrative staff and another for the uniformed officers.
Not feeling well?
Oh, hello, Chief.
Bit under the weather?
Headache. Bad one.
Can be nasty, that.
It's clearing up.
Good. What do you think brought it on? When the pressure gets a bit much, I often feel like having a drink myself.
Oh, I see. The secret police were watching.
Mr. Radley just mentioned it.
There's no law against it.
I didn't say there was.
I just had to get out for a minute. I couldn't stand the thought of the canteen food.
Look, what you do in your break is your own concern. But I don't like my officers drinking when they have to come back on duty.
I only had a lime juice.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. I'll tell you something that I don't often say. I have high hopes for you, Berryman. And I should be very upset if something turned up to interfere with your chances of promotion.
You do think I'm right, persevering with Nellie Evans?
Well, Charles has tried to dissuade you, and you know Mrs. Armitage's opinion, but personally, I would be very disappointed if you didn't carry on. I hope Pat Berryman's all right.
Well, I don't see her as a secret drinker.
No, neither do I, but we have been losing quite a few of our good young officers lately. They seem to lose heart.
Excuse me. North Wing.
Janet? Hello, darling, I've got it.
You what?
They've offered me the job. I start next month.
Oh, Richard, that's marvellous. He's got the job.
I thought he would. Give him my congratulations.
Sorry?
I said I'm sorry I didn't ask you at lunchtime.
Doesn't matter. Mrs. Boswell sends her congratulations.
Hang Mrs. Boswell. I said now I can afford to support you. Will you marry me?
Will I what?
Will you marry me, you idiot?
There's no need to shout. Of course I will, you idiot.
Thank you, darling. I mean, it's not the kind of intimate moment one expects to be part of.
Well, it was scarcely the most romantic proposal.
Oh, I don't know. Janet's ecstatic. They make a good couple.
Yes, I think I agree.
He's doing very well, you know. It's a very important job of his. I know, why don't we give them a small dinner party this weekend, so that her friends can meet him properly?
Yes, that'd be nice, poor chap.
What do you mean, poor chap?
To give him a chance to find out what it's like to commit bigamy. You'll find he's taking out not just one wife, but 300-odd women of Stone Park as well. Multiple bigamy.
Oh, ha, ha.
You've still nearly a year to serve, Nellie.
You bloody have to tell me.
Now, it could be 12 months of misery, just counting off the days, or it could be the most important time of your life.
Oh, yeah.
The time you realise there are other people in the world besides yourself.
Sod off. This is what I want.
Prison's the easiest place in the world to make friends.
Oh, yeah. I sit out there, don't I? No one says a word
Well,
to
you've
me.
got to make an effort yourself. That's what it's like in here.
It's the same outside.
For the same reason. That's why it's important to make a start here. There are an awful lot of people ready to help you.
Why should they?
Because they want to. And I want to.
Yeah, you want to. Yeah, well, it's all right for you, isn't it? I mean, you've got everything. I mean, look at you. You're pretty, aren't you? You're going to marry some big doctor and you're going to live the life of Riley.
Look, Nellie, what I am and what I'm going to do has nothing to do with this. We're talking about you.
Well, all right, then what I got? You tell me. Well, I got nothing. No, I just got 8 and and being by yourself all the time, and it doesn't matter where you are, if you're in here, if you're out there, it's all the same. It's all the same.
Well, don't you see, if you could learn to cope with people in here, how much easier it'll be when you get outside? You will make friends. You won't be lonely anymore.
Are you my friend?
If you'll let me be.
Come. Bill, come.
There's something the matter with Agnes.
Why, what's the matter?
She's crying.
Did he turn up?
Oh, no, he was there.
Bastard. Come on, you tell me all about it.
Stop it, Nellie. What happened?
Well, you know she's due to go out in 3 weeks. A man applied for a visit today, the one she's been living with.
Yes.
He's got another woman. He told Agnes to find somewhere else to live. He packed all her clothes and brought them.
He did what?
Packed all her things in 2 suitcases and left them at the gatehouse. He told Agnes he just didn't want to see her anymore.
But she's been with him for 6 years.
Keeping him, doing everything for him. And then she gets chucked out.
Well, how could he behave like that?
It's typical. I mean, men are all the same. All they think about themselves, what they want. If she imagined anything else, she's crazy.
Don't say that, Pat. Don't be pessimistic. Not when I'm thinking of being married.
I mean, damn it all, I'm the...
There we are, chaps.
Thanks very much.
Oh, thanks very much.
Good health.
Cheers, Bill. Cheers.
I've got enough tonic.
Yes, that's fine.
Good.
So, you know, I mean...
How's Rick, darling?
Well, I'm all right, thank you, Doctor.
Richard?
Please. I'll go and see Agnes first thing on Monday morning.
Oh, thanks, Liz.
I don't promise anything, mind. Accommodation's not easy to arrange.
I was afraid you'd say that.
Oh, I'm sure I'll fix her up somewhere. The important thing will be for her to know that something's being done.
Oh, yes.
All right, break it up, you two.
Sorry. Only if I can have another drink.
That's what I'm here for.
I hear that your job is mainly administrative.
Well, only partly, I'm glad to say. I'll have my own patients as well as supervising generally, and they promised to allow me time for research into my own field, endocrinology.
Well, it looks as if you're going to be kept busy.
Well, that's why I'm so anxious to get down there. I hate the feeling of being used at less than capacity.
Yes, I can understand that.
You know, it's fascinating meeting you at close quarters. You're not at all forbidding.
Well, thank you.
Well, I've only seen you at public functions before, and then, of course, one had one's own mental image of what a prison governor was like.
And what was that?
Harder, brusquer, more distant. Certainly with no style. And nothing feminine about her.
You should be in Harley Street. You know, that's a typical male attitude. One of my very best friends is a woman doctor. She's brilliant and very attractive. So all the men I know, including Bill, I'm talking about Linda, darling, thinks she can't possibly be any good at her job.
No, we were just saying, Janet, if we hadn't butted in that day, you might have become engaged a whole 4 hours earlier.
I'll never forgive you.
I'll never forgive myself. To think, if only I'd known, I could have popped the question first.
Oh.
Oh, it's quite true. Yeah, he's been pining after you for months.
Alas, who now can solace my lonely hours?
Not me.
I'm making improper advances.
Yes, they are.
Come on,
Hey,
Yes,
not
you
guilty.
are.
I refuse to answer that on the grounds I might convict myself.
Oh.
I'm sorry your wife's not here. I was looking forward to meeting her.
Ah, yes, well, she had to stay at home with the baby.
Oh, naturally.
Oh, no. No, we were going to bring him with us. But at the last minute, he had a bit of a temperature, and she decided to stay with him.
I know, Beth. She was afraid it was going to be an evening of aftercare and case histories.
Oh, now, come on, Bill, that's not fair. Look, we've been very good so far.
So far.
Look, we've been talking about all...
Janet seemed very happy.
Yes, she does. I was just saying, alas, who now can solace my lonely hours?
Alas, who?
You know, Janet, if I were you, I wouldn't let him out of my sight.
I don't intend to.
Have you decided when the wedding's to be?
Well, quite soon, I suppose.
Even sooner, if that's possible.
Well, I wish you both every happiness.
Yes, very good.
Well, I'm not going to make a speech, except to say, Richard, that you have all my sympathy.
Oh, shame.
No, you take it from one who knows, Richard. It's not all that easy adjusting to having a wife in prison.
Oh, dear.
Well, thanks for the warning. But in our case, it doesn't really apply. You see, we'll be in Bristol, and Janet, unfortunately, will have to give up her job.
There's always a hostel where you can spend a few weeks, but there are 1 or 2 people in private houses who've helped me before at short notice. I'm going to contact them. Unfortunately, you won't be able to live there permanently. But they're very pleasant. And you can stay there until you find somewhere of your own. I imagine you prefer to be on your own. Agnes.
There's not a great deal of choice, but at first we'd better settle just for making sure you have somewhere to go.
Do you want me to go and see him? If you think it'll do any good, I'll go and have a talk with him. No, I don't think it would either. Not now. I know it's a shock to you, and you don't feel at the moment that you'll ever get over it. But in time, I think you'll realize this was for the best. Now there are practical arrangements to make. Whatever's happened, Agnes, life has to go on. There's the question of how you are going to support yourself. I see from your file you worked in a plastics factory. You also had training as a machinist. Now, what kind of work do you want when you get out?
I don't want any.
You have to do something.
I don't care what happens to me.
Agnes, you won't be given much money when you leave here. I wish it were more, but it's only a few pounds. And you've no claim on the social service.
I don't care. There's nothing left.
Agnes, you'll have to come to terms with it.
I don't have to come to anything. Don't leave me alone. Just leave me alone.
All right. All right, perhaps it was a bit soon. But I'll keep on trying to arrange what I can. I'll come and see you again when you're over the shock.
All right, then, I don't understand.
I've been worrying about it ever since the governor's party last week. Dick, I know you don't think much of my career.
Oh, darling, I've never said that. I know I joke about it, but I think you do a pretty thankless but marvellous job. I really admire it.
The point is, it is important to me.
Yes, I know.
And I love you. And there's nothing I want more than to marry you. But I've never thought of marriage in practical terms before.
That's my fault. I've been thinking about it for the past year.
Really?
Since about the second time we went out together. That was the time you told me you didn't think it was a good idea for us to go on seeing each other.
I thought you were very conceited.
Yes. Well, I was trying to impress you. No, it's my fault. I should have talked to you about it earlier, and then we could have sorted out the details. I thought you understood.
Of course.
I want my wife to be a wife. And when I go to Bristol, I want you to come with me.
God almighty. Miss, quick. Chief, it's Agnes. She's got her wrists. I think she's dead.
Quick, phone the doctor. Get the hospital. Stand back. This is not a peep show. Will you get out of the way?
Throw me another towel, Chief, quickly.
She's still breathing.
The doctor's on the way.
I'm very grateful to you, Pat, for acting so promptly and efficiently.
It wasn't as bad as it looked, madam.
No doubt, but Dr. Mays says that she could have lost a lot more blood and her condition could have been far more serious if you hadn't kept your head and acted so quickly.
Thank you, madam.
I've been meaning to talk to you for quite some time now. As you know, there's a vacancy on North Wing for principal officer. Unfortunately, I can't offer it to you because you have neither the seniority nor the qualifications. I know you've been studying, so I'd like you to take that exam for principal officer. I'm sure you could pass.
I can practically guarantee it, madam.
So what about it?
I'm afraid I can't, madam.
What do you mean you can't?
You needn't worry about the exam. You'll sail through it. And you'll have the governor's recommendation and mine.
I know, Chief, and I'm very grateful. But I've decided it's a waste of time studying anymore, all my evenings and days off. I'm not going to do it. And I don't want to take the exam.
Pat, you'll never believe it. Oh, I know I should keep it to myself, but I've just been told I've been made PO on North Wing.
Great.
Oh, Oh, don't worry, Pat. I won't come the heavy. You'll get time off for smokes and not too much night duty. Well, aren't you going to congratulate me?
If that's what you want, great.
Oh, come off it.
What's the point of being promoted? You only dig yourself deeper and deeper into the system and end up with no life of your own. You live by the rule book, criticised, spied on. The only people you know are convicted women and screws. Most of the ones you try to help don't even like you. Best you can hope for is a day with no fights or hysterics. And when people outside find out what you do, they spit at you.
We hear a lot of bleating about welfare and more funds for the medical wing. But we're not running a nursery or a soup kitchen. We're running a prison.
Here, here.
And the most urgent problem is the shortage of uniform staff.
Let Mrs. Armitage make her point.
Well, I mean, when does the shortage of staff become critical? I think we're seeing it now. I'm seriously concerned about the strain put upon my officers. They're stretched to the limit. Only today we've had an example of one of our most promising young officers as good as saying that she's going to give up.
Well, I don't like to say it, Mrs. Armitage, but with young women, that's something you've got to expect.
Why, Dr. Mays? Because they haven't the dedication of your nurses?
No, I did not mean that.
I'm sure you didn't. I don't think anyone would question the dedication of the uniformed staff. No prison could function without them. We depend on them 24 hours of the day. When all the welfare workers and the chaplains and psychiatrists and teachers have gone home, it is they who still have to cope with the women and maintain security.
Thank you, madam.
Dealing with the ones that are potentially dangerous, like Nellie Evans says, is a strain that people off the wing just don't understand.
I would have thought Nellie was dangerous.
Potentially, she's no more dangerous than any of 100 others.
Well, I think she could be.
Do you?
Yes,
One thing I've thought, listening to you all, and that is that in spite of the advances that we've made here in Stone Park, I still feel that there's a need for a closer liaison between all the various departments.
Yes, I quite agree, Governor. I think we've all found these weekly meetings most helpful, haven't we?
Oh, yes. If only to clear the air.
Well, I'd like to see each member of the staff knowing precisely what the others are doing and working towards the same end.
Exactly, Governor. What's the use of training officers in the new methods if other branches and the public only see them as lockers up?
Defeats enthusiasm.
Look, I'm sorry. We really will have to discuss this some other time. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
Good day, Governor.
Good day.
Mrs. Armitage,
Good day,
could I
Bob.
have a word with you, please? It's a surprise thing.
Peter, can I see you about Evans later in the morning?
Yes, presently. Give me a
Say one thing.
Thanks.
Something getting you down?
Is it so obvious?
Ah, look, Faye. Peter Mays, Mrs. Armitage, the chaplain, Miss Clark, they always have a go at one another.
Oh, that's not what worries me. Since I came here, I've introduced a lot of new ideas.
Well, that's a fact.
Yes, but what worries me is that they may have all been too sudden, that there may be a lack of confidence in my methods and attitudes.
I'd say most people here believe in what you've done, what you're doing.
I'd like to think so, but with Pat and Janet, two young people that are typical of the staff that I've been trying to train here, one of them losing interest, the other possibly leaving, makes me more disheartened than I care to admit.
Faye, you have to keep a sense of proportion. Hello?
Governor.
Miss Hunter is Nellie. She smashed up herself and set fire to it.
I'll get the extinguishers.
And she's a tight back Berryman.
Get the women into the centre and don't let them find it.
All right. All right.
Miss Harker! Miss Harker! Nellie's still in there!
Miss Harker,
is she?
Not so good. That was quite a hit that she took, but luckily it's missed the eye.
Oh, thank heavens.
Oh, what about the fire?
Oh, it was only the bed and the locker. They soon put it out. Poor Janet. Is she badly hurt?
No, she took most of the blow on the side of the head, so the cheekbone isn't broken, just the skin, but she is pretty dazed. I put Nellie Evans in a padded cell.
Yes, I've just seen her. She's quite calm now. Says it was all an accident. It wasn't her fault.
Now, try not to talk.
Pat, Berry. She's all right, Janet. She was just knocked down and shaken. She's fine. And the fire's out.
Now, I told you, Janet, don't talk. Now, I've given you something to put you out for a couple of hours. So go to sleep.
I once had to tick old Georgie off very severely. Been her pet bogeyman ever since.
Miss Parrish is going to keep an eye on this wing as well as South Wing for the next couple of days.
Yes, Chief. I expect everything to continue exactly as though Miss Harker were here. For the present. Mrs. Spencer, would you like to go through the list of inmates with me?
Yes, Miss Parrish.
Miss Berryman, you ought not to be on duty.
Oh, I'm fine,
You
Chief.
took a very nasty knock just now. You run off home. Go on, off you go. Baker,
Yes, Chief?
you have to come along with me.
Why?
The governor wants to see you straight away.
Come in. Sit down, Thelma.
Thank you, madam.
Wait outside, will you?
You know, if you hadn't tackled Nellie like that, she could have done a lot more damage and injury.
I don't claim any credit for it. I just didn't stop to think.
Yes, that's what surprises me. It's not as if you could have expected any favours. You're being discharged tomorrow.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
First thing, I'm going to run a bath and soak in it for 2 hours. Then I'll buy some clothes and have my hair done.
So you have no problems?
None anyone can help with.
You nervous?
Frankly, I'm terrified. I didn't think I would be. But I'm lucky. I've got someone waiting for me.
Yes, I know.
Yeah. Well, that's part of the worry. Will it work out?
You're a surprising person, you know, Thelma. When you first came here, you were shut in, and then suddenly you became aggressive and a troublemaker, and then all of a sudden you settled in.
Simple, madam. Old Lizzie Bromborough gave me some good advice. Do your bird quiet, dearie. They won't bother you, and you won't have to pay no attention to them.
Well, that's not the whole story, is it?
No. I suppose I realized after a while it didn't matter how much I went on prodding some people. They went on trying to help. It made me feel like a rotten bitch.
People like Miss Harker, Miss Berryman? Is that why you stopped, Nellie?
Well, I couldn't just stand there and watch. I thought maybe some of the others would cut me dead afterwards. But some of them said they wished they'd helped. Quite a few of them would stick up for Miss Harker and Miss Berryman. I mean, well, they're more like you, madam. They made this nick a more decent place to be in. Made us feel we weren't just animals and numbers.
Come in.
Sorry to trouble you, Miss Parrish.
It's all right.
How's Janet?
I believe her fiancé collected her and took her home.
I see.
So, of course, as she's to be married, nobody knows when or if she'll be back.
Oh, well, that's answered my question. I've been a couple of times to see Agnes Morris and got nowhere with her. I thought Janet might have the right sympathetic attitude.
Really?
I'm not criticising you, Miss Parrish. Naturally, you won't have had the chance to catch up on all the individual problems in the wing.
I have read the records. I have at least a superficial knowledge of the women in my care. Aren't you going to join an association? Well, stand up. And answer when I speak to you.
Yes, miss.
Are your wrists paining you?
No, miss.
You'd just rather be on your own.
I begged them to leave me alone. Arthur's left me. There's nothing to live for.
Don't talk nonsense. You know perfectly well that man you're supposed to be grieving over is worthless. Or simply refusing to admit that you've wasted your life on him.
You can't say that.
And that famous suicide attempt. It wasn't serious. If it were, you'd have cut far deeper and gone somewhere you weren't certain to be found. It was just a bit for sympathy. You're not a child, Agnes. You're old enough to realise you're better off without him. And wise enough to accept the help the welfare officer is offering you. Well, am I right?
I don't know.
Of course you do.
It's a kind of fantasy. Landing up in prison was part of it. I thought it would make him love me.
What a waste of time. You're lucky you're out of it.
Where did she hit you?
Only on the shoulder. And then she kicked me when I was down.
In the stomach?
You still here? I thought you'd gone off duty hours ago.
I said I'd drive her home, Chief.
Good idea. You go off home. Best place for you, my girl.
What's at home? I'm all right where I am.
Well, I suppose you can sit here if you want to. But you don't look at all well. You ought to see the doctor.
Oh, I don't need to. I'm fine.
Perhaps you should, Pat.
All right, you want me to go home? I'll go home.
Come on, we better get her to the hospital.
I don't need...
Miss Berryman, the doctor is going to examine you, and I am going to stay with you until he does. Now, come along.
Here, you might as well have this shampoo.
Thanks. Keep it till the day before I get out.
Do that. Oh, I might as well leave everything. Help yourself to anything that's any use to you.
Thanks, I'll do that. Gonna be a taker from now on. Spoil myself a little.
About bloody time. What about that Burke, Arthur?
Realised I was wasting my time. It's nothing.
Yeah. Hello, Padre.
Morning, Thelma. Agnes.
Have you come to wish me bon voyage?
Yes, I have.
Well, there's an honour.
Leave us for a minute, Agnes. Won't take long.
See you, sir.
So, what's it about?
I wanted to talk to you.
You never give up, do you?
Not really.
So, what then? Do you really think that one more little chat with you is going to make me see the light?
There's all sorts of life.
Now, don't go all philosophical on me, Padre. Remember, I'm just a simple, good-hearted dyke.
Why'd you knock yourself?
What?
Why'd you run yourself down, laugh at yourself? Do you think you're a freak?
No, I bloody don't.
Are you ashamed of what you are?
Look, if you've just come here to be insulting, you better watch it. God botherer.
Well, I certainly didn't come for a fight. Anyway, you'd probably win.
Yeah. Probably. So?
Well, I wanted to find out how serious you are. This girl you're going to be with, will it last?
I don't know. I want it to. So does she. But it won't be easy.
Why?
Look, we don't go to clubs, try to wear men's clothes, cropped hair and all that crap. At the same time, we don't intend to hide it. There'll be pressures, some unkindness. People aren't very tolerant.
I'm afraid not. Now, I kept thinking about what you said the other day, when you asked me to marry the two of you.
I was kidding.
Were you really?
I know it's not possible.
No, it's not. But if you're genuinely serious, if you really mean it, I would give you a blessing.
You do that? Why?
Because I believe that if two people choose to spend their lives together with love, it should be encouraged. And that for you to take a vow together will give you the strength to face the lack of understanding you'll find.
You'd really do that?
If you really want it.
We didn't think you'd be coming in.
Can't stay away.
That looks bad.
It's going to be a lovely shiner.
How do you feel?
Well, my head buzzes now and again, but I can stay home.
Miss Harker?
Good morning, Thelma.
You're not supposed to be here.
That's what everyone says, but I had to come in to say goodbye and thank you.
You're all right, then?
Thanks to you.
Well, I don't expect I'll see you again.
No, I don't expect so. Good luck.
Thanks.
Come on, Thelma.
Never thought I'd miss this bloody place. Good luck, Thelma.
Bye, Thelma. Have one on me. Good luck, Thelma.
Miss Harker, could I have a word with you, please?
Yes, come into the office.
I examined her last night. I'm not breaking a confidence because Mrs. Armitage already knows.
I suppose I should have noticed something earlier, but it just never occurred to me. Well, that's the last thing you think of in here.
So it's definite?
As far as I can see, there's no doubt.
You're going to have a baby? When?
About 5 or 6 months. I didn't know what to do. Just keep on working as long as possible, till it was found out.
Well, it's none of my business, Pat, but what about the father?
Oh, he doesn't know. We split up a couple of months ago.
What are you going to tell him?
It's all over. He was studying social work. Had a lot of crazy ideas about defying the establishment, that sort of stuff. Anyway, I'd only told him I was in the civil service. You know how it is. Then one night he came back to my place. When he saw my uniform hanging behind the door. Some of the things she said. You wouldn't believe.
Oh, I am sorry, Pat.
Oh, I knew it couldn't last. I'd always thought I was so sensible, feet firmly on the ground.
Have you decided to have the baby?
Of course. I couldn't get rid of it. Stupid, isn't it?
No.
I thought, well, at least I've got my job. Now I'm going to lose that too.
How many people know about this?
By this time it'll be all over the Nick.
Just Dr. Mays, Mrs. Armitage, and yourself, of course.
I am sorry for her.
Yes, it explains a great deal.
She cares about her work, Mrs. Boswell. That's the worst of it. She really cares.
Well, I hope she won't be quite so upset after I've spoken to her. The service isn't run by a Mrs. Grundy any longer, you know, Janet. We do realise that the officers are human, too. Of course, she won't be able to work here very much longer. She'll be given leave, and then when she's had the baby, if she wants to come back into the service, well, of course, she'll be transferred to another establishment. Personally, I shall be very sorry to lose her. She's been a very valuable member of the team that I've been trying to build up here.
That's something I have to talk to you about. Dick telephoned me. He was very angry that I came in today.
He's quite right. You should have stayed in bed.
He's given me an ultimatum. I have to give him my notice now, and we're to be married before he goes to Bristol.
What do you want me to say, Janet?
I'm meeting him at lunchtime. I have to make up my mind.
I can't advise you. Yes, you could have a considerable career in the service. I don't have to tell you how much I valued your support here, but it wouldn't be right for me to influence you. You've got to think of your own happiness. After what happened, naturally, Richard is concerned about you and wants you to be with him, and probably that's what you want too.
Yes.
But in marriage, you know, it's generally the woman who has to make the sacrifice. It's a problem men don't have. It's your life, Janet. You've got to make your own decision.
I couldn't believe it when your mother told me you'd gone into work.
I had to go.
Well, darling, nobody could have expected you to turn up today.
It was something personal. One of the girls was going out. I had to see her.
All right, now you've seen her. Did you tell your governor you were leaving?
I talked to her.
Good. As soon as she knows where you stand, the sooner everything will be settled. There are an awful lot of arrangements still to be made. It'll have to be a registry office, I'm afraid, but I've asked the hospital to find us a temporary flat. We'll look around for something else when we're down there. Cheers.
Richard, I'm not coming with you.
What?
I can't. I'm not ready to.
Well, I know it's short notice.
No, it's not that. Not only that. I'm not ready to give up my career.
Are you serious?
Very serious. I've thought it over and over, and I've realised you've never understood how important my job was to me.
As important as becoming my wife?
Can't give it up just like that.
But I need you. I'm going to be away for at least 3 years.
Yes, I know.
It's your Mrs. Boswell.
Oh, no. She told me to marry you. She said I could come back into the service later.
Janet.
Richard, I love you. But until you can accept that I have loyalties too, and a belief in the value of what I'm doing, I can't marry you.
Well, I hope she won't regret it.
Well, they may get back together again.
Oh, I'm sure they're bound to. Still, I'm glad she hasn't left us yet.
Yes, I have my doubts about Miss Harker. These young girls, they come here and before they've learned the ropes, they're off again. But I think she's bitten.
Bitten?
Yes, Mr. Radley. They talk about the inmates. But it's the professionals, the dedicated members of the profession who serve the real life sentence.
Yes, but the difference is that we are here voluntarily. And we know that at the end of the day, when we leave here, we can live like human beings.
Oh, excuse me, girl.
Yes.
I wonder if I could have a word with you about Agnes Morris.
Oh, yes, of course. Come round.